Hey there, Internet people. It's your good buddy Rue. I'm here to talk about comic books and a very special Ask Rue segment that has nothing to do with comic books. I'm really looking forward to this. So let's get right to it. I'm going to start off with a warning for you people, please. World War Hulks #1. Do not buy this book. If you haven't, please don't. This book sucked. It pissed me off. I literally threw this across the room when I was even halfway through with it. Unlike Civil War or Second Coming or any other event book ever that's named after the event that's going on, this has nothing to do with the event. This is an anthology book about crap that happened before World War Hulks, maybe even before Fall of the Hulks. Don't buy this book. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. Six stories in here, two of them kind of worthwhile. If you see this in the store and you're interested in World War Hulks, the event, and you're interested in Hulked Out Heroes, next week's book, read just the last story in here in the comic book shop. I don't care if the guy yells at you. Don't reward Marvel like I did by buying this. It's me to you. Moving on. Vengeance of Moon Knight. #7. If you've ever watched me do this, I've never talked about Moon Knight before, and I'm not even gonna lie, I picked this up because it's guest starring Deadpool. But if Marvel's purpose of putting popular characters in low-selling books is to get new readers, it totally worked. I used to love Moon Knight. I dropped the previous series when he moved to Mexico. It just wasn't doing it for me anymore. The writing in this issue makes me look forward to next issue, and I've already ordered the first 6 issues from mycomicshop.com. This one issue sold me on the entire series. I highly recommend this book, and I highly recommend this issue. Read it, support it, do what you gotta do, get the word out. This one issue of Moon Knight made me love the character again. Keep it on going. S.H.I.E.L.D. #1. You're gonna see a lot of reviews for this book on a lot of websites if you care about that stuff, that loved it. And I can see it, I get it. I'm beginning to think maybe Hickman just isn't for me at all. Secret Warriors got old in my opinion, and this really, you know what, I've already read Planetary, and this just seems like more of the stuff from Secret Warriors, a complicated story just for the sake of it. I hope it gets better, I really do. I hope I end up loving it because I like liking things. But so far, I'll give it probably 4 issues because that's just the way I am. If you like Hickman, if you like Secret Warriors, I'm sure you'll love S.H.I.E.L.D. The art was gorgeous. Just not for me, so far. This book might just be my favorite single issue of 2010. Deadpool and Cable, basically Cable #25. I wrote a write-up for this over at theouthousers.com. I'll link to it in YouTube. This is a great, great story. If you like Deadpool, if you like Cable, if you like X-Men, if you don't jump into this if you've never read an X book or if you hate everything that is 1990s mutants. I'm not telling you that it's a perfect book. I'm saying that for me, this was a great end to the Cable series, a great cap off to the Deadpool and Cable series from a couple years ago. It is a fantastic issue that fills in details between X-Men 200 or Cable and Deadpool 42, depending on how you look at it, and X-Men 205. Basically, what happened between there and X-Men 200, Cable died because Gambit blew up his island, and for some reason the X-Men assumed he was dead. I don't know. The X-Men seem to never learn anything. And in 205, Cable is holding Hope during Messiah Complex. And this is just one of those great, and here's the last page of #25. And it looks just like Blanco's art in X-Men 205. Highly recommend this book. And honestly, if the way things are looking, if we lose Cable in Second Coming, I can't think this is a great final issue for just that character. Just more importantly, also Swazinski, or how do you pronounce his name? Just like he did during the Messiah War with the Cable and X-Force crossover, he shows he knows how to write Deadpool. He makes him funny, he makes him quirky, he makes him absurd. And if Swazinski, if you ever want to write a Deadpool series, you got my vote, and I know that you're watching this because I know how important I am to everybody and everything. Of my 18 viewers last week, I'm sure you were one of them. Turf #1. This is written by Jonathan Ross, some sort of British comedian. I guess he's funny. I don't know. I picked this up because, again, over at the Outhousers, the fourth man really recommended it. It was entertaining, and I'm going to keep going. But for a first issue, this is incredibly not perfect. One, it was way too busy. Too much stuff is going on. I have competing suspensions of disbeliefs. It just, again, for first, I'm trying to shove so much into showing that this is a unique comic book instead of telling just a simple, good story. This might sound funny. It's way too wordy. Um, and this might be a first comic book for these writers, but it seems that nobody told them that a comic book isn't just a novel with pictures. Let the art tell the story. You don't need big long paragraphs on every single panel. It actually it takes away from the comic aspect of a comic book. And third, finally, the art was not always legible. It was difficult for me to tell who was talking, who was who. If I hadn't seen the character in 3 pages, they weren't recognizable. But for what it is, it's a story about vampires versus mobsters versus aliens. I have faith that this might end up being a great book, but for a first issue, I found it very sloppy. That's just my opinion. And if you didn't care about my opinion, you wouldn't be watching this video. Cinderella from Fabletown With Love, number 6. Seriously, once this gets collected and if you haven't read it, buy this collection. Buy it. Don't just read it, buy it. I highly recommend this entire series for anybody, even if you have just a very limited knowledge of fables. It wasn't perfect, but I'd give it a high B+ or low A- any day of the week. Please, Vertigo, again, just like Dwayne Swarzitsky, I know you're watching this, keep putting out Cinderella minis. Might not be strong enough for a whole ongoing, but if once a year I get 4 or 6 issues, I think it would be a wonderful expansion of the Fables universe. I'm really glad Willingham is being like Neil Gaiman and letting people play in a sandbox like this. Cowboy Ninja Viking, number 5. I recently reread, I think it was yesterday, reread all 5 issues of this in one sitting, and they were still amazing. This book is laugh out loud funny, it's original, it's quirky, and it's very exciting. I feel the adrenaline of the characters. I cannot stress enough that you should be buying this. The art is very unique, but still very, very legible. I can still understand what's going on. There's a collection coming out. I saw it on Amazon the other day. The price is awesome. I might even double dip for the extra stories that they're going to put in there. Read Cowboy Ninja. It's called Cowboy Ninja Viking. How are you not reading this? And finally, I know this is out of order. XMen, Uncanny X-Men 523. I'm bringing this up only because this is a good story, blah, blah, blah. I have a bet going on with a fellow reviewer over at the Outhousers, Star-Lord. I say that there's no way Hope is going to end up being revealed as Jean Grey. I'm saying Jean Grey, there's a chance, probably going to be a Phoenix, but not Jean Grey. Star-Lord says she's totally Jean Grey. I am so confident that I'm right. I've put up my self-imposed posting exile and a little bit of my sexuality. I really should not have done this while hammered. The problem is Star-Lord, we don't know what he's putting up yet. So I'll put a link in the YouTube comic section. If you're reading this at the Outhouses, I'll put a link there. Go and give us some suggestions for Star-Lord's into this bet. Finally, Ask RuRu number 3. This comes from one of my favorite posters on any website ever, Big Sexy Jude Terror. And his question is, Ru, I finally decided to be a man and learn how to actually drink things that aren't natty light. What are your top 3 favorite whiskeys? Well, I actually brought them down here with me. First, this is my everyday whiskey, Jamison. I can afford it whenever I need a bottle. It's smooth enough that it doesn't burn, but it's not so smooth that you forget you're drinking hard liquor. I can't do a whole bottle a night. I'm not insane, but I can generally go through about a bottle like this once every 2 weeks if I'm in the mood for it, and I can always afford it. It's a good, solid, everyday whiskey. If you just need to sit there and have like something, a couple pieces of ice and maybe a splash of water just because I like it cold. But no, Jameson is a very good everyday whiskey. But for more special occasions, or just if I really, really had a stressful day, it's called Redbreast. I can rarely find this in stores. So usually when I go home to Cincinnati, drive down to Kentucky and buy a couple bottles, this is just a wonderful oaky, but again, not too oaky, smooth whiskey that I don't even insult by putting ice in it. I actually usually tend to keep this bottle in our wine fridge just so it's cold enough for me, or I use a cold glass when I'm drinking it. At the end of the day, it's a somewhat expensive bottle. So again, I save it for special occasions. And like if I'm out at an Irish pub, it's maybe about $10 a glass for like Redbreast. But if you can afford it, and if you really like strong flavor in your whiskey, here you go. And finally, Glenlivet. I know it's not the best scotch in the world, but it has a special place in my heart. I love it, and I use this at graduation or whatever. It's a nice special occasion whiskey. There you go, everybody. I hope that I didn't go over and have to redo this. Later, peeps.